Right now on Denver 7 News at 5 o'clock, crews will be back out at Cherry Creek Reservoir today to find a man who drowned over the weekend.
The ultimate goal here with this is a recovery to provide a little piece of closure for the family.
What investigators say led to the tragedy and the boating rules until the search is complete.
It's a medical mystery stumping doctors around the country. Kids are getting sick with hepatitis, and health officials say one of those cases is here in Colorado.
And the Avs need one more win tonight to move on in the NHL playoffs. They are back on the ice, though, without their goalie, the latest on his recovery after a freak injury over the weekend. We are glad to know that he will be okay, though. Thanks for joining us. I'm Brian Sanders.
I'm Nicole Brady, and we do want to get to some breaking news affecting your morning commute. Westminster police say a pedestrian was hit and killed on I-25 at 144th Avenue.
We want to get right to our traffic expert, Jason Luber. Police are telling you I-25 could be closed for several hours.
Yeah, so that could put us into the 6, 7, maybe 8 o'clock hour. We'll see how that plays out. Right now, as you can see from the map up that way, this is the southbound side of I-25 right here at 144th. That's where all traffic's being diverted. Most folks are going over here to Huron down to 136. You could also use Washington Street to do the same thing or go down to 120th. Let me show you on the quad split what's going on. So this is the camera that's looking at the closure point, not the crash. The crash would actually be behind us here, and that's the southbound side just starting to back up. These are the folks that are heading down to that closure point right now, not seeing extensive backups just yet. And then at 136, you're not seeing any traffic because the bridge would be, the entrance to the highway be behind us. And then at 120th, you can see the traffic's moving normally. So as you get up here and you're trying to make your way through North Glen and Thornton, right now the drive time delay is really minimal at this point just because I'm not seeing a lot of traffic getting through there, but we're going to have to start using some of those alternate routes here in a little bit. The rest of the drive looks just fine. Anywhere else you want to go, including out to the east side of town, that drive across Aurora looks just fine. No problems for us right now, Lisa, down through the Denver section.
And we've got, at this point, some fairly calm conditions in Denver. The winds are going to pick up, though, here today, and we do have a number of fire weather warnings again in place, covering most of southern and southeastern Colorado, plus some high wind watches and warnings. So fire danger is going to be a concern. The fire weather watch now a warning for us here across most of the metro area. And again, winds have been pretty calm at about 5 to near 15 miles per hour here, but south and west of us, it's already starting to get gusty. As you get up into the mountains, you're going to find speeds upwards of around 30 to near 40, 45 miles per hour. So it'll be breezy here, gusts close to about 30 miles per hour, but closer to 60 down over the southern edge of the state. Temperatures, though, on the rise. We're going to be in the upper 60s by about 11 o'clock, well into the 70s again today. It's going to be another very warm and dry afternoon. There is, you guys, a little rain on our Super 7 day. I'll show you when coming up.
Well, a hot weekend on the water ended in tragedy for a family. A young man died while tubing at Cherry Creek. Search crews will be back out at the reservoir this morning to look for the 29-year-old's body. Denver 7's Veronica Acosta is near the east boat ramp. And Veronica, of course, this is a reminder of how dangerous the water can be as people get back out there.
It is, and in just about 2 hours, we're going to see those crews back out here doing what they were doing, most of the weekend, searching for the body of that man who drowned on Saturday evening. Now, Colorado Parks and Wildlife say the man was riding on a tube. It was being pulled by a boat. He fell off, he went underwater, and then he never came back up. The Marine Evidence Recovery Team has been at the reservoir searching some areas that are as deep as 22 feet. CPW has said the 29-year-old man wasn't wearing a life vest. According to state law, that is required for anyone that's being towed on an inner tube. Once crews get out here, though, this morning, the goal is very clear. It is finding that man's body.
All agencies involved at this point are trying to find find that piece of closure for the family, and our condolences really go out to the family members in situations like this.
And as you can imagine, that crew, that team that's been searching all weekend long, their original plan was to search through the night, but it is a little breezy this morning and it was a bit windier overnight, so those plans had to be canceled. They'll be back out here once again 7 a.m. As for the actual reservoir, we know that's closed to boating today because of this. We're live in Aurora this morning. I'm Veronica Acosta, Denver 7.
Thank you, Veronica. So sad. And as people get back out there, we saw a few other rescues on the water over the weekend. South Metro Fire and Arapahoe County deputies rescued someone at Chatfield Reservoir. Poudre Fire Authority responded to a call of a missing paddleboarder and kayaker at Horsetooth Reservoir. Those people were found safe.
That's good. The intersection of 84th Avenue and Washington is now back open in Thornton after a deadly crash. One woman died and 4 others were hospitalized yesterday. Police are still investigating what led to that crash. Also, we expect to learn more today after a shooting just a half block from the 16th Street Mall in downtown Denver. 2 men were shot but are expected to be okay. Happened around 2:30 Sunday morning. Police have not released any suspect information.
The CDC is investigating more than 100 mysterious hepatitis cases in children, and we've learned at least one of the cases is in Colorado. Denver 7's Christian Lopez joins us. Christian, it's not exactly clear right now what's causing the illnesses.
It's not, and at least 109 kids have gotten sick. 5 of them have died, and these cases have happened over the past 7 months across 25 states. Hepatitis is an inflammation of the liver, and it's not uncommon in children, but it typically is not severe. And the CDC says that these children, around 90% of them have been hospitalized, 14% of them needed liver transplants, and a majority of the kids have fully recovered since then, and they are back home, but officials say more than half of them had the adenovirus.
Having this cluster of cases, especially with the numbers of hospitalizations and the 5 deaths, is very concerning. We still don't have all the data necessary to make an informed decision about what is driving this increase in cases.
And around 200 cases are being investigated globally. Health experts are asking parents to keep an eye out for symptoms of liver failure. So these are things like fatigue, dark urine, and yellowing of the skin. Live in Denver this morning, I'm Christian Lopez, Denver 7.
All right. Thank you, Christian. We've been talking about COVID vaccinations for more than a year, but experts say don't forget the regular vaccines for kids. In the last 5 years, Colorado has had cases of measles, mumps, and whooping cough. The latest vaccination statistics show Colorado is number 10 in the country for the worst vaccination rates for childhood diseases. Nationwide, there was a 1% drop in vaccination rates during the 2020-21 school year. Experts say that 1% drop is even more impactful in our state where fewer kids were already vaccinated.
People are kind of tired of hearing about vaccines. They're tired of hearing about COVID and vaccines. But we know with measles, mumps, rubella, and polio, we know these vaccines are extremely safe and very, very effective. And we also know these viruses are still very virulent. And the only reason we haven't heard about them is because so many people have been immunized and they're not around. But it won't take much for them to come back.
Yeah, Dr. Washington says most people alive today have not seen the impact of measles and some of these other diseases. They can cause more serious problems and even death. We checked with the state health department, and while the numbers are not final for last year or this year, in the last 5.5 years, we've had nearly 2,000 cases of whooping cough in Colorado, 230 cases of the mumps, and 4 cases of measles. We have not had any cases of rubella or polio.
Turning to sports, the Avs could put the first round of the playoffs to bed tonight. Game 4 in their series against the Predators is tonight at 7:30 in Nashville. With the Avs dominating so far, they have a 3-0 game advantage so far. Team captain Gabe Landeskog cautions, though, that anything can happen.
They got their backs against the wall at home. They're going to want to, definitely don't want to get swept at home, and we want to try to end this thing and don't give them any life. So it's going to be a big game on Monday.
Darcy Kemper will be out for Game 4. He was able to escape what could have been a really serious eye injury. The Predators' Ryan Johansson put his stick into Kemper's face mask. You can see right there, Kemper then dropped to the ice holding his eye. Head coach Jared Bednar said aside from the swelling, it doesn't appear to be any other complications included with it. Johansson told reporters the move was unintentional and made him sick to his stomach. He's just happy to hear that Kemper will be okay. Jason.
And Brian, we have a pretty good drive overall, except for the drive up to the north, where we have southbound I-25 still remaining closed down because of a fatal crash that happened early this morning involving a person that was on the highway. So southbound I-25 at 144th Avenue remains closed down right now. Have more details on how to get around it coming up.
And we are going to be in for some pretty warm weather here at the bus stop early on. Your kids are going to find some mid to upper 40s. Under a mostly sunny sky today, we're going to hit highs right around 80 again later on today. It gets even warmer. We're talking near 90, you guys, by midweek. Details on the Super 7 Day coming up.
Well, Russell Wilson has been pumping up Broncos country. He and his wife, Sierra, are also pumping up Denver's housing market. We're taking a closer look at the record-breaking sale for their new home. Plus,
I'm John Matarese. Don't want to get hit with big home repair bills later this year? I'll show you some simple spring maintenance you should do right now, coming up.